everybody? Welcome back to the first Oklahoma City Sports Network of the new year 2024. I'm the Cowboy Crab, joined by Brian this time. How's it going, Brian?
It's been going well. Can't complain.
Good to hear. And of course, with the new year, we also bring in the new system here in the OFL. We got a new series system with tiers as well, being 5 tiers. So Twisters, after their technically week 0 win over the Bluesteel City Vikings, sitting put in tier number 3, the middlest of middle tiers, meaning the OFL sees the Twisters as a good but not great team, but also not a bad team. Perfectly in the middle. So with that being said, we got the recap of the Red River rivalry game to talk about. The Twisters did make a trade. We have that to talk about. And of course, we have our 2 series matchups to preview here today on the Oklahoma City Sports Network. So I think we should just get straight into the recap of the Red River rivalry. We'll start with the Vikings stats, and then we'll get into the Twisters stats. All right, so starting with the Vikings, the quarterback for the Vikings went 18 for 43, 439 passing yards, 41.9 completion percentage, 3 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions.
Brutal
Yeah, the Twisters, they, to say the least, had a field day on defense against Holy. The 3 interceptions definitely being the big thing that sticks out to me. Anything on that wise that sticks out to you, Brian? Just anything?
Honestly, Chaos Vert came in and made it look like it wasn't that hard. So yeah, maybe look for Holy to switch to running back at some point this season. Yeah. But
Yeah, Chaos Vert, he went 1 for 2, 65 passing yards and a touchdown. So his 1 completion was a touchdown. Rushing-wise, the reason Brian made that comment is Holy has 13 rushes, 110 rushing yards, and a touchdown. So definitely more of a running-style quarterback seemed to be Holy, as he seemed to have more success with his legs than he did with his arm.
Yeah, he was finding his legs more than he was finding people to throw to. So,
and that definitely was not what he needed that game. The receiving core for Vikings, here's his stats. Disgusted Juice Box, he had 5 receptions, 207 receiving yards, and a touchdown. Horrifying, 3 receptions for 31 yards. Chaos Vert, 3 receptions, 74 receiving yards. Dremo, 3 receptions, 139 receiving yards, and a touchdown. Galix, reception for 13 yards and a touchdown. And TWRV, 4 receptions, 49 receiving yards, and a touchdown. And Brian, a name that's, I think, stick out to all Oklahoma City Twisters fans of familiarity is Galix, former quarterback here in Oklahoma City, and he made his return with the Bluesteel City Vikings in the Red River rivalry game. What's your thoughts on that? You weren't here last week, so I didn't get to catch your thoughts on that.
I mean, it's definitely interesting. I feel like, I don't know, is that a little intentional? Maybe. But I mean, he's cool dude for sure, but he definitely was, and it wasn't his fault, but he definitely was the head leader of maybe one of the uglier seasons of Oklahoma City football. But no, I mean, it's always good to have former Twisters back, not in, that type of jersey, but still somewhat nonetheless. But he did solid, I guess, if that's what you want to say. But nothing too special overall. But again, I guess it was cool to see him back. But wrong jersey, my friend, wrong jersey.
I wouldn't say it was much of a Brett Favre returning to Lambeau kind of feeling, but more of a step down from that, I'd say, is kind of how it felt.
Yeah, no, 100%. I would say maybe if Jamarcus Russell came back to
the black hole.
Yeah, something like that.
All right, well, center-wise, there are 3 centers: Horrifying, Death Squads, and Andrew Boss. All of them, out of all their out of all of their drives, Horrifying had 1, Death Squads had 10, and Andrew Boss had 1. None of them let up any tackle for losses or sacks. And then on the defensive side of the ball, Galix had 2 passes defended, and Disgust the Juice Box with 2 passes defended. So, I mean, when you really look at these stats, I mean, outside of the fact that Disgust the Juice Box put over 200 receiving yards, overall the Twisters played good football.
Yeah, no, this is really what you want to see now. I mean, strength of team is debatable, but still nonetheless what you want to see after what happened last season.
Especially after last season. But now we'll move on to our Twisters themselves. And Brian, I know you weren't here for the interview with our new head coach Randy and our new quarterback, by the way, but I'm guessing that you have seen the clip that has gone around from said interview.
I believe so, but please refresh my memory. I believe so, but refresh my memory. I don't know what you're talking about.
What's good? It's Randy Sanchez clip. Have you seen that one? That is the clip that's going around of that one. Literally, I'm pretty sure that's the reason that episode has almost 300 views. Thanks for that, by the way. Hey, Coach Randy, appreciate that. But anyways, we got to move on to his stats from that game. So Randy went 24 for 31, 659 passing yards, 77.4 completion percentage, at 9 touchdowns. That's a way to start a career at the in the OFL.
Oh yeah, that's a young star in the making right there.
And he also did some stuff with his legs too. 4 rushes for 37 rushing yards. So, I think his arm is the strong suit. Looking at these stats here.
But I mean, I agree. I also think though, Randy, if you need to get to the sticks, I think he's got the legs to do it as well. So that's probably the best case scenario here.
Indeed, and also now we get to our receiving core, or slushy runs. He had 2 receptions for 67 receiving yards and a touchdown on the big comeback after last season's fire sale. Yeah. Wide receiver Samuel returning to Oklahoma City, getting 8 receptions, 289 receiving yards, and 5 touchdowns. That is a welcome back for a star wide receiver if I've ever seen one.
Oh, 100%. You can't ask for anything better than that. I mean, that was beautiful.
I mean, the only thing that maybe would have been better if he got to 300, but...
Yeah,
But that's just nitpicking at that. I'm just nitpicking at that point.
Yeah, and for the record, if anyone read the Tribune, I was joking about the 2-point attempt. It didn't leave a blemish on his stat line, but it definitely would have put it up there. But I was joking. No one take that serious.
All right, up next for the receiving core, you had Skater, 3 receptions for 90 yards. 4 in status with a reception for 16 yards. He got a touchdown of that one. Boldga, I think is how you say that name. 4 receptions, 70 receiving yards, and a touchdown. Gregory Fortnite, 3 receptions, 57 yards. And then Yamvert, 2 receptions, 70 yards, and a touchdown. Brian, what do you think of these receiving stats overall for the first game?
I mean, this, man, like, I hate to, oh my God, like, all right, whatever. It's overreaction time. So, like, you gotta love this, right? I mean, this is 100% textbook football right here. I mean, the ball's getting passed around beautifully. I mean, just as even as it can get. I mean, Samuel, I mean, I think it's obvious he's the receiver 1 here, so I think he's gonna have the overwhelming more amount of yards, but overall everyone played their part. Like, really, everyone played their part to where it needed to be. Almost everybody having touchdowns, except 2, which was Gregory and Skater. So I mean, you really can't complain with that performance. And I'm of course I'm gonna be patient, but I do want to say I'm looking at the defense tab and I'm just geeking right now. Like.
Oh yeah.
I'll let you get to that.
We're gonna get to that in a second. Though we gotta talk about the centers though. Kura, 7 drives, no tackle for losses and sack, and Parker even getting a drive in at center, no tackle for losses or sack.
Yeah, you can't complain. It's an old man right there, but he's still able to do his job, so you can't complain.
Basically, the Andrew Whitworth of the team.
Correct.
And then we got the defensive stats, and this is my bread and butter. Under Samuel, he had 2 passes defended, slushy runs with a pass defended, foreign status with an interception, Randy with 2 interceptions, and Skater with 2 passes defended. I mean, Randy, if he didn't already make a statement at the quarterback position, he made a statement at the middle linebacker position with 2 picks on the day.
100%. 100%. You know, I mean, this is what you love to see. I blank as the seasons go on, but I believe, was it last season or was it the season before where we just, couldn't get a lot going in the defensive tab, and this is a great start.
Yeah, I believe it. I think that was, I think that was 2 seasons ago, where it's just like you rarely would see anything in the defense.
That's my rookie season. Now, all right, we've had this same exact scenario before. We blow them out. We blow people out. We look like we're rolling. Somehow,
yeah, we run into the trap game.
And that trap game happens to be mostly ourselves. Now, yes, we do. Now, yes, we mostly do take a loss, but most of that trap game is ourselves.
Yeah, not going to disagree with that one. However, before we do move on, though, to our trade, we do have to congratulate Randy and Samuel for making Week 0 Team of the Week. Randy getting Team of the Week player for quarterback, and Samuel for wide receiver. So just congratulations to both of those players for making Player of the Week for Week 0.
100%. It's big, and making a good look for the Twisters, and you just gotta keep it going.
I mean, not the team with the most players to make Team of the Week. That belongs to the Warriors. They have 4.
Yeah,
but we have 2. So that's second most amount. So we can take we take our moral victories where we can get them. But we do have a trade to talk about, and this is an interesting trade that was made. So the Twisters receive Death Squads, and the New York Destroyers receive B Tender. So, how did Death Squads get here? Because you might have heard them when I said Vikings. Well, let me just scroll back up. So the Vikings traded him to the Death Squads to the Rams for Solskjaer.
Mm-hmm.
The Rams would then go on to trade him to the Destroyers, along with Will Clutch and Rocky Boomin for Mandy Bond, and then the Destroyers send him here. So that's how Death Squads got here.
And that's not a bad trade.
It's not a bad trade.
No, not, and also Death Squad. I think Death Squad's going to make a good piece here in Oklahoma City.
Oh, 100%. I agree. And you love a team that's deep. All right, you love a team that's deep in depth. So, you gotta love that. Just really building, and you gotta have guys just in case. And I think that was a pretty solid trade. And I would grade it out to be a B+.
All right, now we got to talk about our Series 1 matchups here in tier number 3. So, Twisters, overall, they got ranked 13th, which is actually the highest of tier 3. So, they are literally the only... they just barely missed out on tier 2, which to start the season, I think, is pretty good. The highest... So, the Twisters matchups will consist of the Dresden Dragons and the Houston Toros. So, Toros being a rival we have faced before. The Dragons, I believe, is a first-time matchup. Let me just make sure. Or that is
we have the Toros, correct?
The Toros, division rival, and then the Dresden Dragons, who we have played once before. So, both of these are going to be interesting matchups. Because I don't know, I'm not 100% sure that last week wasn't the fact that the Vikings just aren't the team they were from last season at all.
Yeah.
And with the way the new system works, it's supposed to put you around teams around where your team overall is. So I'm expecting close games. Just looking at both of these games on paper.
No, 100%. And I think Dresden, they're not a bad team. That could be a tricky game. That is the games I'm talking about. All right. What game was it last week? Last year? Was it Houston?
Houston was the trap game last year that caused the fire sale.
Yeah. So, and Houston again, they are not a bad team this year. They look pretty solid. So, you gotta take it with a grain of salt. But I guess in the Twister fashion, it can be anybody. So, and that's no shade, but that's just like, that's the pattern. All right. But I'm gonna give this team, good vibes. That's not the type of team we have this season. That's what I'm gonna roll with. Whether some of you may believe that's the case or not. I think Houston will be a good game. Definitely a little traumatizing from last year. Crab, you could probably agree with that one.
Definitely.
And Resparkled, 19 for 26. Like, he puts the ball where it needs to be. All right. And so no turnovers yet for this Houston team. But I believe we have the same. So, should be an interesting game. Crab, I'll let you throw in your prediction first, unless you have anything you want to say beforehand.
So I was just going to point out how both of these teams did in their rivalry matchups. So, for the Dresden Dragons, they were able to win with a final score. Okay, let me just. I had it and then I decided to lose it. So hooray for me! Here it is. So the Dragons, they got their first win over the Canton Greats, 52-35. In a game that is described in the OFL Network as as an absolute burger game. So we can take that as we will. And as for the Toros, they weren't so lucky with the win. However, it was a really close game, only losing to the Barton Bruisers 38-36 in a very competitive game that they probably could have won.
Yeah. So,
So, we're just looking at both these matchups. I'm definitely a little scared of both these teams. I definitely think they have the potential to beat us, but in the end, I think the Twisters will prevail. I don't think the same. I think some of the same magic we had from last week, I don't think as much of it will translate, because when you compare the caliber of teams that we face in the Vikings to the Dragons and Toros, however, I do think the skill will be there still. So I definitely think the realistic expectation for the Twisters is to go 1-1 in Series 1, but 2-0 is definitely a big possibility.
Yeah. This season I'm trying to be more realistic, and I could see this being a win. I could. And I'm gonna take the Twisters here. I am. I don't think this game will be as close. I think it'll be like a 2-score game, likely around that. Because a little alarming with John's 5 interceptions. So that's the part that's throwing me here, is those 5 interceptions. However, I don't think this is gonna be just a layup of a game, if you will. So I will take the Twisters. I'm nearing around a score of probably I would probably take, man. Crab, did you give your score prediction yet? I forgot.
I did not.
I'm gonna give you the floor first, just so
All
I can.
So for tonight's matchup with the Dresden Dragons, I think I'm gonna go with a final score: Twisters 52, Dragons 43.
Okay.
I'm gonna go. Give me Twisters. I'm gonna say probably around. Give me Twisters 55, Dragons 35. I'll just keep it like that.
And
Keep it like that.
for the Toros game, I think I'm going to go Twisters. There's 42, Toros 40.
Yeah. So this is the game that's true.
I think out of the two, I think that is definitely the one likely to lose, that we could lose. I'm not doubting the Dragons, but when a game is described as a burger fest, I'm not entirely sure how to feel about the other team coming into this matchup, but for Houston, it's a different story.
Yeah. No, I 100% agree. I definitely think, we could be in some real trouble.
Look. All right. In all honesty here, I will take Twisters. Man, I hate to say it because I already have high hopes on the season. And that is me just going off the stat line because I didn't get to fully watch the game. But I would take Houston 53, Toros 50. I think.
Well, we both have it as close games at least.
Yeah, no, I think for sure it'll be close, but I just think for some reason, and maybe not for some reason, I trust me, I think Reese Sparkle's a good quarterback overall, but he's just like so much more lethal against the Twisters, so I'm gonna take Houston.
I'm definitely on the side with you where it's like our last matchup with them. Definitely, I think, gives some momentum going into that matchup whenever we shall play them. But I think, depending on how the Dragons game goes, if it goes really well for us, I think we'll both probably have a change of picks. But if it goes about how we say it, we'll probably say the same. But you know what? I don't feel like recording 2 episodes, so our predictions are staying the way they are, no matter the outcome of the Dragons game.
100%.
All right, well, I think that is just about everything we have we've covered. We've covered the recap from the Red River Rivalry. We got the trade for Death Squads and preview for the series. So, Brian, you got any closing comments for us?
I do, and I think we should both do this real quick as a new tradition for the new year. I think we should pick, just like the Tribune, the Oklahoma City Sport Network Player of the Week from the team. And to start off, I'm going to go Randy.
Hey, we had the same pick. I was going to go Randy too. All
right. 24 for 31. He had total nearly 700 total yards with his legs and his passing yards, 9 touchdowns and forced 2 interceptions. Those are legendary numbers right there. So that will be my week 1 Player of the Week for the OKC Sport Network.
Yeah, and I'm agreeing with him. I'm also going Randy. I mean, Samuel had put up a good game, but I just the fact that was Randy's first game in the LFL, and he did that at quarterback. Not to mention the 2 picks on defense. I feel like you got to go Randy, Player of the Week here.
100%, and definitely impressive. We're gonna see him tonight though, and a little bit more tighter competition, and I'm excited to see how he does. I think this is truly one of the more interesting and intriguing stories around the league. So that's about all I have. Crab, you got anything else?
I think we've said everything we can.
All right.
All right, so we'll close it out here for you folks. Representing the Oklahoma City Sports Network, I am the Cowboy Crab.
And I am Brian.
The analyst of the Oklahoma City Sports Network saying so long, everybody.